Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Stack Bitcoin Show. My name is Roman, your beginner-friendly guide to saving in Bitcoin. Today, Bitcoin is $105,000. Should we buy at this price? Yes or no? Stay tuned to find out. If you know, you know. If you've been here before, you already know the answer to that question. You already know the answer to that question, but let's keep it going. So, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Hard Huddle in the house. Round of applause from the live studio audience for Hard Huddle. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild to see. Struggling, guys. I'm trying to make it to the next paycheck right now. I've been stacking so hard, and man, we'll see if Strike lets us make this next purchase. Okay, we'll just leave it at that. But no worries. We have a lot of stuff on the what do you call it, on the burners. A lot of stuff on sale. So hopefully we make a sale here soon. DCA to BTC in the house. What up, Carlos Aramillo? Nice. You owe him a soda. You owe me a sat. Nice. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen of the show, let's get things cracking. Let's jump into the first segment of the show, and that is, of course, the Bitcoin strength. Dang. Today, the price of Bitcoin is $105,888.88. You saw it flash on the screen. Today, you can buy 944 Satoshis for a single dollar. What the heck is a Satoshi? A Satoshi is a fraction of a Bitcoin. Just like a dollar is made up of 100 cents, a Bitcoin is made up of 100 million Satoshis. So when you look at the price of Bitcoin, don't think to yourself that you have to save up to buy Bitcoin. No. You save in Bitcoin. You don't save up for Bitcoin. What is this? Bitcoin Beacon #1 fan in the house. Let's go. How do you get that? That's cool. Round of applause from the live studio audience for Bitcoin Beacon #1 fan in the house. How'd you get that, Beacon? That's cool. I clicked on top fans at the top. Maybe I enabled it somehow. I don't know. That's pretty cool. Welcome, top fan. That's really cool. All right. Let's say you're walking down the street, minding your own business. You look down, you see a penny, you pick it up, and all the day that penny will be worth, for now, maybe for the rest of the day, 9.45 Satoshis for a single penny. It's on sale, boys. Super cheap. Do me a favor, guys, as you come in, hit that like button and let me know that you hit that like button. Let me know that you hit the like button by typing in stacked into the chat. If you have any questions for our resident fortune teller, our resident bullish on Bitcoin fortune teller, Boltar, all you gotta do is type in ! Boltar space and then put your question in there, and Boltar will answer your question. But only ask Boltar the most important financial decisions. Only ask him the most important things. Okay? And of course, take his advice 100% to the letter. Just kidding, guys. It's a bot. Okay, it's a magic 8-ball basically, but it's pretty fun. Okay, so ask Boltar some questions, and you'll see his bullish on Bitcoin fortune teller response. All right, that's running that right now. It's running throughout the whole episode. So if you want to just spice it up, ask some questions. It's there for you guys. Okay. All right, I made up this new overlay for the show, because I wanted to maybe feature some of the stuff we've been doing here on the show besides this actual presentation, besides the actual show. And that is, a long time ago, almost, I think it's over a year now, I put together these little comic strips called Hodl Boy, and they explain some of the concepts of Bitcoin in a little bit of an easier way to understand. It makes it more fun. So we're going to go through a couple of those real quick before we get into the regularly scheduled program, okay? Or we jump into the Why We Stack segment, okay? Well, actually, let's make this part of the Why We Stack segment, right? Let's do that. That way it's a little bit spiced up, a little bit different for today on a Stacko Tuesday. Here we go. Next segment. Why we stack. Let's talk about why we save in Bitcoin and let's do it with some visual aids that I drew a while back and are still relevant today. Here we go. Jumping into Huddle Boy. Huddle Boy number 1. This is a comic strip, but it's just basically a single pager. It's a meme. If you can print money, why do you have to pay taxes? It's a question. You know, just do with it what you may. Answer it for yourself. Think about it. It's just food for thought. Food for thought. Okay. The next one is a little bit more. It's a little bit more exciting. Here we go. It starts off with this kid or this guy that that is watching the price of Bitcoin and is waiting for the price of Bitcoin to drop so he can finally buy a Bitcoin, right? And this is in 2024. Bitcoin was at $48,000, and I drew this comic, and it was supposed to be like the new it was getting close. It was getting close to getting back to the all-time high of like 67,000 or something like that, right? So when I drew this comic strip, it was at 48,000, and this kid's like reacting 48,000, and let's see, here we go, 48,000, and he's yelling it, and Huddle Boy comes over and says, "What's wrong?" And the kid says, I'll say the pleb, the no coiner says, I've been saving for Bitcoin, but it keeps going up. I think I'm priced out. And then Huddle Boy says, you don't save for Bitcoin, you save in Bitcoin. And then the no coiner says, but how? And then Huddle Boy goes, well, and he starts explaining it. All right, here we go. It's just like I do here on the show. I should have this visual up when we do the actual the beginning of the show. Anyway, just like a dollar is made up of 100 cents, a Bitcoin is made up of 100 million Satoshis. There you go. At 48K, you can buy 2,083 Satoshis for $1. But we just saw that today you can only buy 944 Satoshis for $1. So damn, it's already lost half the purchasing power. You'll have 0.00002083 Bitcoin. Buy a set dollar amount on a regular schedule, DCA. Stack sats, take custody. Before you know it, you'll be at your goal. That's what he's telling this no coiner, and this no coiner is like, oh yeah, stack sats, okay, saving Bitcoin. And then he says, take what? Because he doesn't know about custody. He just knows to leave his coins on the exchange, right? So the next episode is talking about how you take your coins off of the exchange. We're going to do that one real quick. We're going to go through it, and then we're going to jump into the rest of the show. All right. Huddle Boy comic book number 3 or episode. What do you call it? It's not episode, right? It's, what do you call it? What do you call a comic strip? It's not episode. Oh my gosh. Anyway, number 3. Huddle Boy number 3. It's the no coiner who finally started stacking sats, right? And he says, yay, I've accumulated 1,347,000 Satoshis. That's 0.03147 BTC so far, right? Super stoked, right? Edition, yeah. I think it's edition, or it's not an episode. It's not a, oh man, there's like a certain term for it. Anyway, comic book number, whatever. So he's got 0.1347 Bitcoin in his exchange account on his computer on the server, right? So he doesn't actually own Bitcoin yet, right? But he thinks he does, right? He just spent all this money to accumulate 0.1347 Bitcoin, and he thinks he's got Bitcoin. He's stoked. He's happy. He's in love with this stack. See, his stack is right there. He goes and checks the price every day, and he sees it like go up and down, but mostly up, and he's like stoked because he hodled through the downs, and now it's mostly up. So now he's in the positive, and he just like loves it. He's in love with it. Look at his eyes, right? So then out of nowhere pops in Huddle Boy, and it says, not your cheese, not your keys. And he's holding a plate with cheese and a couple of keys. This is so fun and so dumb. And then Huddle Boy's like, what? He's melting because he's like, what? He thought he had it all figured out. He thought he was cool. He thought he had it all done. And he's like freaking out, melting. Whoa, what's going on here? Trying to play me off. And so he's like, what? And then Huddle Boy goes in again. Hodl Boy just goes in there, goes in unannounced, shows up, and starts giving you some Bitcoin signal right in your face. Boom! He busts out three hard seed signers, or basically seed signers, or some people call them cold wallets, but they're just basically holding your private key. So it's got a Trezor, it's got a cold card, and a Jade. And it says, okay, when we move our Bitcoin off an exchange and into our own wallets, we force the exchange to write the transaction on the Bitcoin network where we can verify the Bitcoins are in our custody. You no longer need to trust a third party, the banks, the exchanges, you know what I mean? When you set up your wallet, you'll get a 24-word seed phrase that represents your private key. As long as you have it, you can restore your wallet if you lose it. You can restore your wallet if lost or damaged. Cool, right? All right. Your private keys live on your hardware wallet. Your wallet uses it to sign transactions when you send Bitcoin. If you lose your signing device, you can restore it with your seed phrase. If you lose your seed phrase but still have your access to your signing device, you can move your Bitcoin to a new wallet that you have the seed phrase for. If you lose both of these at the same time, it's game over. Your Bitcoin is no longer your Bitcoin. It is basically a donation to the network, and you made Bitcoin more scarce. So thank you. All right. As on the security front, one last thing: keep your seed phrase safe. Never take a photo, save it to the cloud or local digital storage. No cameras, no notebooks, no Evernote, no OneNote, any of that stuff on cloud storage. Not even your iTunes notes, because iTunes gets hacked all the time, and they take all that data and they scrape it for things that look like seed phrases. And if they get it, they're gonna have your coins. Okay. Even your local computer. Let's say you have a computer, you don't put it on the internet, but you have a digital like notepad edition of your seed phrase. That's not safe either, because eventually, somehow, some way, that computer can get hacked, or if you donate it, forget that it's on there, somebody could find it and take your keys and take your money, right? All right. The best way to do it is to physically write it down on something like analog, right? You can punch it into metal plate like some people do. You could punch it into metal washers and put it on a bolt, or some other way you can think of that's analog, not digital, or you have to actually write it out by hand, okay? And you don't even need to write out the whole word. All you need is the first 4 characters of each seed phrase, of each seed phrase word, and that's enough. That's unique enough to be able to restore your wallet. Okay. All right. That is okay. So now the no coiner kid, the pleb. Now he's a pleb. He's not a no coiner anymore because he has some Bitcoin. He's a pleb now. The pleb says, seed phrase in a fireplace. Sorry, seed phrase not in a fireplace. Seed phrase in a fireproof safe, and a cold wallet in a different place. Boom. That is how you do it. That's how you do it. And if you want to support the show and track your donations, we have a donation button here. We can do ! Dono, and it'll give you, does that still work? Hold on. Does that still work? I don't think the donation link works anymore. The donation link doesn't work anymore. Just use this QR code instead. If you're so inclined. There we go. Put this over here. Right there. Aha! Oh yeah, that works. Roman Castro at strike.com, strike.net.me. If you put a donation for the show and you make sure you add a message, we'll add the message to our tracker sheet. Okay, so you can inscribe. Now I'm selling inscriptions. No, it's kidding. Your message will be immortalized in the Stack Bitcoin show spreadsheet. I just became a poop corner live on my very show. Wah wah wah. Anyway, all right, let's keep the show rolling. Where we at? Okay, that was the Why We Stack segment. And to wrap up the Why We Stack segment, we're going to go with the super quick combo, which is this. Why do we save in Bitcoin? We save in Bitcoin because saving in Bitcoin is like traveling back in time and giving yourself a perpetually increasing retroactive raise for the hours you've already worked for as long as you hold the Bitcoin that represents those hours. Ordinals use a different coin than BTC. Oh, okay, cool. Safe. Pipeline Podcast in the house. What up, Pipeline? Good to see you in here. It says, I was doing a spreadsheet, and it's crazy to think 2019, $1 was 24,965 sats. Now it's $1 for 954 sats. Yep. That's a 96% drop. That will drop. That will $1 equal is the next 6. Yeah. Well, what will $1 equal in the next 6 years? If it continues on the trend it's on, it's pretty much doing 50% year over year, right? On average. I mean, and I'm sure people say like, yeah, it's going to be less going forward. But so far, 50%. That's what I assume, 50%. That Bitcoin will appreciate 50% year over year. But I'm just a guy on the internet, right? I don't know. And I've only been stacking live on the show for about 2 years, right? So that's not even a whole cycle yet, right? Personally, I'm about to hit my first 4 years, like that, my actual full cycle as like a Bitcoiner. I'm not even sure if I've had my full cycle yet. Yeah, I'm not even sure if I've gone through my full cycle. But as a show, as the Stack Bitcoin show, the Stack Bitcoin show hasn't even made it to a full cycle yet, right? We're barely slightly over 2 years, right? So we're half a cycle in, guys. And a Bitcoin cycle is 4 years. Why is there a Bitcoin cycle called for 4 years? Because every 4 years, the release rate of Bitcoin, right? There's 21 million Bitcoin cap, but it's all not released yet, right? There's like a small percentage of it this hasn't been released yet. That's going to get released over the next, I don't know, until we get to 2140, right? And that's like the last 7 or 8% of Bitcoin hasn't been released yet, right? And that release rate shrinks by half every 4 years, okay? So right now the release rate is 3.125 Bitcoin per 10 minutes, right? In another 2 years, it's going to be half of that. I can't do the math in my head right now that fast. Hold on. 3.125 divided by 2. In 2 years, the reward for mining the next Bitcoin block, which is every 10 minutes, is going to go from 3.125 to 1.5625 Bitcoin. That's half, right? So it makes Bitcoin even more scarce, right? And the longer you hold it, the harder it is to attain and the more valuable it'll be worth, especially nowadays when more and more people are realizing how quickly inflation is hitting us and they're looking for a way to shield their savings from inflation, right? As that becomes more popular and people start to understand what Bitcoin's superpower is, which is inflation resistance, then you're going to have a lot more people moving into it. Yeah. All right. So that is why we stack. That was a long why we stack, guys, but I like it. I think what we'll do is we're going to incorporate the Huddle Boy comic once a week. I don't want to do it too much. Once a week, maybe we'll do it on Fridays or on Tuesdays. Well, I'm not sure yet. Maybe every other week in case someone's new and they want to get like the full breakdown. Or if somebody asks a question about how hardware wallets work, that we're going to bust out the visuals. Okay, I'm going to have it right there in my sleeve, in my pocket. I'm going to have that right there in case somebody comes on here and says, oh, hey, how does self-custody work? And then we'll be able to be like, oh, glad you asked. And I'll bust that out. We'll pound it out for like 10 minutes. And then that way it's done. That way people are getting the live interaction. And if they have any questions about the specific thing we're covering, it actually helps me refine the message too. So very cool. If you're new here, my name is Roman. I've been stacking Bitcoin for about 2 years here on the show. 2 years, 2 years, 1 month, and 1 day. 2 years, 1 month, and 1 day. And no, it's gonna be more than that. Less than that. 2 years. Yeah, anyway, over 2 years. And we've started saving $5 a day. And then we moved over to $10 a day, and then moved over to $20 a day. That's what we're doing now. And before I just continue to talk about it, let me just show you. Okay, let's jump into the next segment. The Stack Recap, because we don't only talk about stacking Bitcoin here Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern. We actually do it. And we do it to the tune of $20 a day, Monday through Friday, non-stop, stackity stack in 2025 so far. Because we started tracking 2025 separately. We track all the years separately. That way, in case you're new and you show up to the show and you don't see that we're 2 years in, it doesn't like freak you out, right? We're showing this to prove that it doesn't matter when you start. The point is to start. Okay? If you would have started with us this year, January 1st, 2025, when Bitcoin was at $94,791, $20 worth of Bitcoin would have bought you 20,909 Satoshis. Okay? If you would have started stacking with us and continued to stack with us Monday through Friday, you'd be up about 13.81% on your savings. You would have saved $4,200 so far. And that $4,200 that you set aside is now worth $4,780. Okay? That's a pretty good return for 7 months. For 7 months of waiting. 13%. Some people are waiting 30 years for 5% bonds. Where's my? Do I have a? I need a want or something. I need some more sound effects on this board. Some people are waiting 10 years for a 4 or 5% return on bonds. Okay, and we're getting 14% in the past 7 months. Okay, not bad at all. Not bad at all. Let's take that and stretch it out a little bit. In 2024, we tracked that year separately as well. In that year, we saved $7,345 into Bitcoin. And that Bitcoin has grown to about $12,976 worth of purchasing power. Right? Another way to look at this is that we paid $7,345 for 0.1224 Bitcoin. And if we were to go and try to buy the same amount of Bitcoin today, it would cost us 76% more of today's weaker money. Boom, 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 boom. Right? So, or you could just say we could just say that our investment went up 76%. Whatever, if you want to be a jerk about it. It's good. All right. And then for the whole lifespan of the show, what we like to call here, recently renamed the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve of the Stacked Bitcoin Show, we've saved $15,000 of cash money just over the past year, 2 years and a half, 2 years in a month or something like that, right? We've saved $15,000 and acquired 0.274708030 Bitcoin. That Bitcoin today is worth about $29,000, $29,119, and that means that our savings grew. Our savings grew about 94%. Another way you can look at that is, again, if you want to buy 0.274 Bitcoin today, you have to spend 94% more of today's weaker money to buy the same amount of Bitcoin, right? It's crazy. And the beauty of this whole process, the best part about it is this. I didn't have to do anything extra to grow my savings from $15,000 to almost $30,000. All I had to do was save in Bitcoin and continue to save in Bitcoin and wait. That's it. Like, I didn't have to go get a side job. I didn't have to go start a business, right? I just saved the money that I was going to save anyway. And I saved it into Bitcoin instead of dollars. And it grew almost 100% so far, depending on the price of Bitcoin. Right now Bitcoin is quote unquote down a little bit at 105, 106. But when it gets back up near its new all-time high, we'll be over 100% gains for the 2 years since May 22nd, 2023. And that's not a small task. That's not a small return. That's an awesome return, right? To double the value of your savings over 2 years, that is some pyramid scheme stuff, right? It makes you think about that. It's like, that's just unreal. It doesn't make sense because until Bitcoin came out, we've never had an asset that beats inflation so hard, right? Like, yeah, maybe like in the past, like stocks and bonds were able to beat inflation because inflation was like 2 or 3%, right? But now that the real rate of inflation is more like 10%, nothing is beating inflation except for maybe like REITs, right? Like real estate investment corporations, maybe. And I don't even think right now those are even beating inflation. But for sure, Bitcoin doesn't just beat inflation, man. It murders inflation. It like choke slams inflation off the top rope, beats inflation. That's how badly it beats it, right? So when you see shows like this, or people talk about Bitcoin and they say, oh yeah, like my savings are up 100% over the past 2 years. Yeah, it isn't. It's not a crazy like number, but at the same time, it is a little crazy. Where you're like, nah, this guy's trying to pull a fast one on me. You know, it's like this guy's trying to set me up for something, right? But I'm not. I'm not trying to say it for anything. I'm showing you what I'm doing here on the show. The whole point of this show is to demonstrate that it's possible to start from 0 Bitcoin, right? And see better gains than most of your other investment options, okay? You don't need to have a huge down payment to get started in Bitcoin. You can start with $1 or like $5 like we have, right? You don't need to pay insurance to own your Bitcoin, okay? You don't need to pay taxes on your Bitcoin just to hold it like you do real estate, right? You don't need a realtor to buy and sell your Bitcoin. Yeah, you do pay a fee, right? But a fee for a Bitcoin transaction going from dollars to Bitcoin and Bitcoin to dollars is usually about, I don't know, less than 1% if you're at the right exchanges, right? If you're like on Strike like I am, it's less than 1%, right? And if you do a lot of buying, eventually it becomes closer to 0 or 0 if you're doing the auto purchase plan. Okay, so like what's the best returns you're gonna get on any investment you can do right now? That's it. It's Bitcoin, right? And then on top of that, the barrier to entry is super low. Okay, so yeah, the other thing people freak out about is like, well, am I too late? Like it's already gone from 0 to 107,000, 106,000. Am I too late? No, you're not too late, right? I like the latest analogy that Saylor used on the BTC Prague 2025 presentation. He said, saying that you're late to Bitcoin today, feeling like you're late to Bitcoin today is like saying that you're late to would be the same as saying like, oh, I'm late to using electricity because I was just born in this century. I was just born in this century or whatever, right? And Bitcoin has been and electricity has been around for more than 100 years, right? So, are you too late to use electricity? No, you're not, right? Are you too late to use the wheel? How long ago was the wheel created? And how long ago did you start using it? Maybe you just got a license. Maybe you just got a car. Maybe you just got a bicycle, right? Are you too late to the wheel? Are you too late to electricity? See, it doesn't make sense. So when you conceptualize and think about Bitcoin in that way, right? Think about Bitcoin as something like that. So don't feel like you're too late. You're not too late, right? We're demonstrating here on the show. We're restarting every year. We'll restart every year on purpose to demonstrate that point with actual numbers and buys, and you can see the progress, right? Yeah, sometimes, of course, at the beginning of the year, we're always in the negative, pretty much. It's happened so far in 2024 and 2025, okay? We're in the negative, right? We started in 2024, look at that, we're buying, Bitcoin's at 45,000, boom, 46,000, 43,000, and we're like, oh, 39,000, 45,000, okay, went up to 51, that's fine, right? See, by the rest of the year, like you're like, oh shoot, that's awesome. I wish I would have bought more. I wish I would have stacked harder at the beginning of the year when I felt like I was losing, right? But this whole time here, we're in the negative for a good month or two before we started making gains again, and then we're off to the races, right? Now, the stack that has matured for the year is more tolerant of the dips, because if the Bitcoin price dips right now like 10-20%, I don't care. I'm already up 76%, right? If it dips 40%, I don't really care. I'm still up, right? I'm still up. It's still 40% is not more than 76%, so I'm still up. So it makes it easier to hodl when you already have such a big profit, right? So buying the 100-year Austrian bond was a bad idea. No way. Was a bad idea. It yields 2%. Exactly. See what I mean? Like, and this is the thing. Right? Up until recently, and I don't even know if it's still. I don't even know if I'm pretty sure this is still the case, right? A financial advisor is not going to tell you about Bitcoin. They're going to want to put you in a 40-60 portfolio, right? Stocks and bonds, right? I forget if it's 60% bonds and then 40% stocks, or the other way around, right? But the average win for stocks, and it's not that good unless you're in the top 7. I mean, in the Magnificent 7, right? Right. And then, are you making more than 10% gains on your bonds? No. Right? So you're getting poorer, right? But it doesn't feel like you're getting poorer because there are gains happening. Don't get me wrong. Your stocks and bonds are growing. They might be growing at 5%, right? Might be growing at 6% if you're lucky. Let's be super generous. Let's say it grow at 8 or 9%. Your portfolio of 40, 60 stocks, bonds. That growth is happening here. Okay. And that money supply expansion is happening here. So yeah, from here to here, the value of your portfolio did increase in dollar terms, right? In dollar terms, the value of your portfolio did grow 5% from here to here. But the money supply expansion negated those gains because you're still this short. You're still got this much poorer at the same time. You got this much poorer, even though you're seeing this much gains. Okay, and that is where they sleight of hand you. That is where inflation tricks you. Okay, because the whole money matrix is moving on you, and they're just debasing you, and debasing you at different rates. Debasing you really fast if you're holding cash, slightly slower if you're holding stocks and bonds, but still debasing you. But you still feel like you're making gains, right? So at the same time, the prices of everything are getting higher and higher faster than you're appreciating your savings. So therefore, if you take that equation out to final resolution, what happens? Well, if you're saving in dollars, you will not be able to retire. You'll have to work every single day of your life until you're dead. Right? That's the ultimate turnout, right? If you take that timeline and just drag it out to its endpoint. If you save in Bitcoin, it's gonna be the opposite. If you save in Bitcoin, everything in your life is gonna get cheaper, and you'll be able to buy it for less and less Bitcoin the longer you hold it. Why not stack the crap out of Bitcoin now? Well, it's cheap before everybody figures it out, and set yourself up for a more comfortable life, right? Maybe you want to live a crazy lavish lifestyle that you need to stack a little harder, but maybe you don't need a crazy lavish lifestyle. You can live a little bit on a conservative side. Then you won't need to stack as hard, right? Anyway, all right. I didn't even know what segment we're on right now. We just feel like we're flowing today. It's a Stacko Tuesday, and I'm feeling good. I'm still telling you guys. I know some of you guys weren't here yesterday, but look at my sweet haircut. I cut it myself. I gave myself a haircut and stacked $50. Huh? Gave myself a haircut and stacked $50. So buying, okay. I'll always remember my very first stack was 24 sats for free December 11th. Okay. When BTC market cap was under 1 trillion. Yeah, that's wild. So you've at least doubled that. Right. All right. So let's keep the show rolling. Let's get into, we did a stack recap, right? That's where we're at. And let's go back to 2025. Oh no, we haven't even done the whole show, right? Yeah, we did. We did do the whole show. There it is. Okay. Now we've done a couple extra things on the side. Reclaim Bitcoin. That's where I sell things that I don't need anymore. Donations from the show, from generous fans of the show and the community, and supporters of the thing that I'm trying to do here, which is grow the awareness of Bitcoin for beginners. And then the 100-day Bitcoin savings challenge. I still haven't linked the other spreadsheet. I need to link it. And then, of course, the 21 Moto project, where I ride my Grom instead of driving my truck to save on gas, and I stack the difference of 21 cents per mile. And then the side hustle, which is just random stuff I do on the side. Sometimes I MC parties. That sounds so funny to me. I imagine I MC parties, and I don't even DJ, guys. I just talk. It's so funny. Anyway, when I make some money from those side hustles, I also include that in the mission here to get to one whole Bitcoin for the show. All right. So in 2025, the average price of Bitcoin has been the average purchase price of our buys has been $96,000, and today the price of Bitcoin is $105,000. So today we're gonna buy $20 worth of Bitcoin right now during the Stack Bitcoin show. And now that we know how much Bitcoin we're gonna buy, there's only one thing left to do. Time to stack some Bitcoin, baby. All right, here we go. I'll jump over on the Strike app. Luckily, I preloaded the Strike app with some cash so that I make sure I don't go over budget. So let's see if my new strategy is working. All right, here we go. Oops. I'm gonna go over to the Bitcoin app. Oh, it scared me. It's got like a regular message that says Bank holiday Independence Day is July 4th. It's just like a little announcement so you know what's going to happen. I thought it was already blocked. I'm going to hit buy. Boom. It still works. $20 worth of Bitcoin. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to use the available cash that I have saved on the app. Here we go. Buying $20 worth of Bitcoin right now on the Stack Bitcoin show. Here we go. Bam. It happens so much faster when you're doing it with cash. Yeah, that's so fast. All right. Here we go. Let me put the stats up on the screen after I make this, turn up the music. All right, here we go. We just purchased 18,667 Satoshis for the stack. And let's update the spreadsheet with this buy. Man, it's hot in here. Oh yeah, it's July. It's finally, we're already in July. July 1st, 2025. Today we purchased. Today, the price of Bitcoin we deserve today is $106,123.10 Bitcoin. We bought $20 worth, and that is worth, and that it gave us 0.000186667 Bitcoin to the stack. And just like that, slow and steady building up the stack. Let's go to the strategic Bitcoin reserve sheet and add this to the bottom. Look at all that proof of staking. No, not stake. Proof of stacking. Proof of stacking. Proof of work. Proof of stack. Bam. Bam. All right. There we go. Our final total after today's purchase is 0.3776348 on our way to one whole Bitcoin. Will we ever get there? I don't know. Not with 2 likes though. Not with 2 likes and 9 concurrent viewers. Do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button and tap the screen for some hearts, some 100%, whatever you guys want. I need some more interactions to get this YouTube algorithm talking or spreading the news about Bitcoin. All right, cool. That is the bulk of the show. That's what we do here Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern. I show up. We talk about Bitcoin a little bit. If there's any new people in here that have questions, we answer the beginner questions. If you're watching the replay and you want to ask a question, but you never get to watch live because for whatever reason, 2 o'clock doesn't work for you, leave a comment in the replay. Leave a comment in the replay. I will take up your question and answer it in tomorrow's episode and try to help you out as much as possible. I put together a bunch of little resources, right? We have the Hodl Boy comic. We have the spreadsheet to help you track your savings. We have the 100 days Bitcoin savings challenge spreadsheet as well. And just trying to make it, trying to reduce the friction of getting started with Bitcoin, you know? Like my go-to orange pill thing to do was to get people to download the wallet of Satoshi, right? And when they banned that, it really just kind of like put a damper on my real life day-to-day orange pilling, you know? I'd be like, all right, download a wallet of Satoshi. Here's 1,000 sats, you know? And it'd be like 20 cents or 25 cents, right? And it was like, oh, cool. And then like a month later or like a year later, sometimes they'd call and be like, hey, dude, that Bitcoin you gave me, it says it's like 30 cents now. It says it's like 40 cents now. I remember when you sent it to me, it was like 20 cents. What's going on? Like, oh, it's just the power of Bitcoin, dude. Imagine if you would have been saving like I told you to when I gave you that 1,000 sats. Imagine if you had been saving since then, right? It would have been the same thing to your money, right? Right? They're like, oh, damn. And then they see like the real, they feel the loss. They feel the pain, right? They can see it. So I want this show to be kind of like not necessarily that feel the loss, but like get that FOMO a little bit, right? You do need a little bit of FOMO, right? Not to the point where you like buy and sell at the wrong time. You need to have the fear of missing out on the long-term benefits of saving in Bitcoin. Okay, not fear of missing out on quick gains for more melting ice cubes. No. You need to figure out. You have the FOMO about missing out on future prosperity. right? Bitcoin Beacon, thanks for saying that. We're doing great. You're doing great. Keep going. Awesome. Thanks, Bitcoin Beacon. We're out here trying every day, Monday through Friday. Cool. All right. So it's summertime. Let me know what you guys are gonna do this summer. It's like, is it midsummer yet? It's nice, man. It's nice. Like lately, the sun isn't setting here till like around 8 p.m. It's wild, right? Usually during the winter time, it's getting dark like at 5:30 p.m. right? Also, we have daylight savings time where we change it, but still, like 8 p.m. and there's still light in the horizon. It's so nice. Anyway, so that said, today's Tuesday. It's taco. I'm gonna have some tacos, but I'm probably also gonna get the fam together and go hit the beach for some tasty waves. Yeah, I'll probably go hit the beach today for some tasty waves and boogie board. All you can ride. It's free. It's the best way to save money and entertain the family. Get some boogie boards, right? $20, $30 at Costco. Take them to the beach, and it's all the waves you can ride, and it's free parking, right? Anyway, hope you guys enjoy this episode. Let's wrap it up because I don't see any new questions coming through. I'm still trying to figure out this top fans thing. That's cool. So Bitcoin Beacon is our top fan. Who's our second to the top fan? How'd you get that, Beacon? Do you know? I'm gonna do a quick little Google search how that happens, okay? Because that's pretty cool. I want to be able to. I want to promote more of that. How do you get top fan on YouTube chat? Because we're not monetized. Top fan status in YouTube Live. You need to actively participate and earn points on live stream leaderboard. This leaderboard is a feature that highlights the most engaged viewers, and the top 3 viewers with the most points receive a special badge. Ooh, how to earn points and potentially become a top fan. Engage in live chat. Participate by sending messages and interacting with the stream and other viewers. Okay. Send super chats. See, we don't have super chats. That's weird. So consider using super chats. Okay. Use super stickers. We don't have super stickers. Send gifts. We don't have gifts. Crazy. How to track your progress. Look for the crown icon during live streams. There will be a crown icon on the top of the chat. Clicking the icon will display the leaderboard. Check your rank. The leaderboard shows top 50 most engaged viewers. Bro, you guys should all be top 1, 2, 3. Hard Huddle should be the champion, but he doesn't get it because he's a mod. That sucks. That sucks. But you get to be blue and have a wrench, Hard Huddle. So you got the power of you got the veto power, right? You got the power to smash the poop coiners. Okay, that's good. That's awesome. But Pipeline should have it. Also, Carlos should have it too. That's interesting. Okay, engage. This video will explain. Maybe it's a bug because we don't have super chats enabled. Maybe are they going to give us the ability to enable monetization? That'd be sweet, right? Step it up. It's a monetization. Stack a little harder for the stack. Once we unlock monetization, guys, we have to get to 500 subscribers, I think. Okay, so we have to get to 500 subscribers. Once we get there, we'll unlock monetization, and I'm gonna come up with some cool badges for like the Stacker Lounge, Stacker Club. I don't know what we're gonna call ourselves yet. The Stacker Club community or the Stackers, and I already have a bunch. I think they call emotes. I already have the emotes that I want to use. I designed them like a long time ago. Watch, let me get my notebook real quick. It'll be a variation of these things. Here, I'll show you guys. Hard Huddle is number 0. He's like ahead of number 1. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Like I started this notebook such a long time ago, and I have like some like some Bitcoin stuff I want to make. There it is. Us. Like just different little Bitcoin coins that I'm gonna use once we get monetized. And once we get monetized, I'd be able to like really flesh these out and make different little things like stack harder, or like stack, or like lightning, DCA to BTC, little box that pops up and it just says DCA to BTC, or like just cool stuff to add to the chat, make it more spice it up, make it more fun. Very cool. But yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun once we get to that. It'll be fun once we get to that level. It'll be super cool. All right, cool. All right, boys. So that's all I got for you guys today. Thanks for tuning in. I hope is that the exit music? It was the exit music. There we go. Now we'll wrap it up. Once again, guys, thanks for tuning in. Happy Tuesday. Hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Yeah, really enjoyed this episode today. It was fun. I feel like it flowed well, and I appreciate every single one of you guys for showing up. You guys make the show more fun for me because I get to see you guys interact, and it's much easier for me to vibe off of the chat. Okay, so thanks for showing up. It helps a ton, more than you know. So thank you so much. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode of the Stack Bitcoin Show. But until then, remember, if you ain't stacking, you're slacking. Bye, guys.